Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Q News, and here is a look to the top stories making the headlines this hour. Egypt has expressed its profound concern over the escalating reports of famine in the Gaza Strip, officially confirmed by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry stated that these conditions are a direct result of Israel's war and its crimes against civilians. Egypt called on the international community to decisively intervene and end the violations, which include Israeli restrictions on humanitarian and food aid. The ministry emphasized the urgent need for a ceasefire to address the humanitarian crisis and praised UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres for calling the famine a man-made disaster for which Israel bears direct responsibility under international law. The Palestinian Ministry of Health has announced that 8 new deaths, including 2 children, were recorded over the past 24 hours due to famine and malnutrition in the Gaza Strip. The ministry stated that this brings the total number of famine victims to 281, including 114 children. It also stressed that the humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to worsen amid the blockade and the shortage of food and medical supplies, renewing its call on the international community and relief organizations to urgently and immediately intervene. US President Donald Trump has underscored the need to resolve the Israeli detainee crisis, calling the situation extortion and stressing his commitment to securing the release of the remaining detainees. This comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that Israel would resume negotiations on its own terms for a temporary ceasefire and the release of all detainees. The proposed deal, accepted by Hamas, includes a 60-day pause in fighting and a detainee exchange. However, Netanyahu remains determined to advance plans to capture Gaza City.
They've agreed to do it, and I think it's a great deal for them. I'm very proud to say I got the hostages out.
The Gaza Ministry of Health announced that 61 people were killed and 308 others injured over the past 24 hours as they were brought to hospitals across the Strip. The ministry noted that the total death toll from the Israeli assault has risen to 62,622, with 157,673 injured since October 7, 2023. Between March 18, 2025 and today alone, the toll has reached 10,778 killed and 45,632 injured. Iran has hinted at the possibility of withdrawing from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, if nuclear negotiations with the E3 countries fail. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that withdrawal from the treaty is an option if the trigger mechanism is activated, confirming that nuclear talks with the E3, France, the United Kingdom and Germany will resume next Tuesday. US President Donald Trump's administration has dismissed Defense Intelligence Agency Director General Jeffrey Qnews. Qnews, who has led the agency since early 2024, was removed following the agency's preliminary assessment stating that the US strikes on Iran in June only delayed its nuclear program by a few months.
And I haven't spoken to President Xi about it. At the right time when we're set, I'll do it.
The Associated Press reported that threats by Iranian officials to arrest the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, have further complicated negotiations between Tehran and the agency. According to the report, Iran warned that Grossi would be arrested if he entered its territory, adding to the complexity of the ongoing talks. Meanwhile, the Iranian newspaper Kayhan, which is close to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, called for Grossi's arrest and execution in Iran. This concludes our top stories for this hour. Many thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates on Qnews.